So Borderlands Remastered came out a week ago, and you're probably wondering the same thing I was wondering as someone who played the original thousands of hours, played all the DLCs multiple times, played Borderlands 2 multiple times, all the DLCs, played the pre-sequel for like an hour and realized it's garbage, but played the good ones. So the big question is, did Borderlands Remastered, does it refresh the experience enough to warrant going back and replaying this? In this Borderlands Remastered review, I'm going to share with you all the different features they added to the remaster, and at the end I'm going to share my opinion as far as did this refresh it enough to re-energize the experience in Borderlands. Hey guys, it's Chris with B&B Gaming. Welcome back, and I hope you're doing amazing today. Now to start with, guys, I have a couple PSAs. The first one is that if you owned Borderlands on Steam prior to the Game of the Year launching, you get it for free. So your older version of Borderlands is automatically updated to the new version of the whatever Game of the Year edition. Now the second PSA is that if you own Borderlands on Xbox or PlayStation 3, you can transfer your characters over to the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 versions. Now as far as what improvements did they add to Borderlands Remastered, the first feature they added was auto pickup for ammo and health, which is actually a little funny because your character still goes health over here and it already absorbed it, so it's kind of funny. The second improvement is they added a mini-map. Now this is optional, so you can toggle it on or off. The third improvement they added to Borderlands Remastered is the ability to lock and to label gear or equipment, guns, etc. as junk, so that way you don't accidentally sell any guns that you want to keep. A good tip here is if you're like me and you're a bit of a hoarder, you like to keep all the guns, all the mods, just like, I might use this down the road. What you can do, because in Borderlands Remastered we get all 4 DLCs with it, you can actually use the Underdome's bank system to store weapons. So what you can do is just go to the fast travel to the Underdome, go to the bank, and just deposit the mods or guns that you want to keep for other characters or for a rainy day. Improvement number 4, they added slightly more cosmetic choices. Now when you originally set up your character, you have, 5 or 6 more cosmetic choices. I'm not sure if down the road they're going to add cosmetic packs that we can buy or something, because these are actually pretty rudimentary. I'm not sure if they could add more into the game, hard to say. Improvement number 5, they improved the final boss fight, and I just did the boss fight I believe yesterday or maybe the day before, and I don't know what they improved because it didn't really seem that much different to me. If I remember right, and I don't know, it's like 9-10 years ago, beating the boss for the first time, if I remember, there weren't any chests in there. After you beat the boss, you just beat the boss and stood there and looked around. In the Borderlands Remastered version, I believe there's maybe 5, maybe 7, maybe 8 different chests after you beat the boss. So at least we get that. Improvement number 6, they added 6 new legendary weapons into the game. And you're actually guaranteed to get one of these the first time you use the golden chest. Improvement number 7, they added golden chests into the game. And what these are, if you're not familiar with them, is they have a system in Borderlands 2 where they have shift codes, and if you enter them in, you get golden keys, which you can use on these golden chests to open them up and hopefully get the best loot in the game at your current level. And as far as what I've used in Borderlands Remastered, it really does work because you get some really, really good weapons. Now as far as how you get these shift codes and ultimately the golden keys and the really good loot, if you have a Handsome Jack Collection save on your Xbox One or PlayStation 4, you'll get 75 golden keys at the start of the game. Another way you can get the shift codes is by following Gearbox on social media, and a third way you can get shift codes is by joining the insider program at Borderlands.com. And as far as what I can tell, you can earn up to 3,000 points. Now you can use these points on whatever you want to. You can buy shift codes for Borderlands Remastered, Borderlands 2, the pre-sequel, Also, you will be able to buy stuff for Borderlands 3, so yeah, you might want to save them. I'm a little iffy on whether I want to use mine or not. Right now I still have like 60 codes left, so I'm good. Improvement number 8, they added up to 4K graphics and 60 frames a second on console. Now for Xbox One X and PlayStation 4 Pro, you also have HDR. In addition, they also added up to 4-player split-screen co-op on one screen. The thing is, it will drop your frame rate down to 30 FPS, but you got 4 players, so who knows if you'll even notice. And the final thing they added was a FOV, or field of view slider. And here you can adjust the game from anywhere from, I don't know how low it goes, but I know it goes all the way up to 120. Now honestly, it looks a little weird on console at 120. It looks kind of like you're seeing out of a fisheye or something, but I know for me I play around 110, 115, and it looks really, really good. Now Borderlands Remastered does have a few technical issues. One of them is if you join a friend's game, the waypoints are really weird. Your friend, who's the host, will select a mission and the waypoint will be in a completely different direction for you, and it doesn't match up or sync very well. They're also having connectivity issues right now where sometimes, I know on Xbox you will get booted and there's really no reason why, but it looks like Gearbox is working on this, and I'm assuming they'll fix this pretty quickly. Now, how does the game feel overall? Now, I'm playing on Xbox One X, and I do have a 4K TV with FreeSync, so my opinion might not be 100% accurate if you're just playing on a base Xbox or PlayStation 4, but as far as my experience goes, it's butter smooth. There's no frame rate drops, nothing. One thing about the original Borderlands on Xbox 360 was it was locked at 30 frames a second, and it also had performance drop. So if you got into a major firefight with different effects going off, shock and acid and everything else, it would start chugging and you'd start seeing the screen stutter. In this version, it's just butter. It's so nice. Now, as far as how does the game look, it looks fantastic. One thing that really pops to me are the effects, specifically on the skags. So you run into shock skags, corrosive skags, etc. And just the effects on them really pop. Now, part of this could be because of HDR. As far as controls go, they're tight and responsive. Maybe one negative I would have here is it only has one slider for sensitivity. It'd be nice for them to have inner and outer dead zone sliders, as well as maybe aim down sight slider, etc. Now, as far as the $30 question, has Borderlands Remastered done enough to refresh the game and make it fun to play again? For me, I'm going to say absolutely. Now, again, I played this game for 1,000 hours plus on Xbox 360, including multiple playthroughs on all the DLCs, maxed out all the characters multiple times, so I've played a lot of Borderlands, and Borderlands Remastered did a phenomenal job just making the experience fresh again. The first thing that makes Borderlands Remastered better for me are the tight controls. If you played backwards compatibility games on Xbox, and they are pretty cool, but one thing you really notice is either it's the Xbox One controller or Xbox 360 controller. One thing I notice is they all have this real pronounced inner dead zone on them, which makes the aiming feel laggy and slightly imprecise. With Borderlands Remastered, none of that is there. It's really, really tight. Now, admittedly, I am using an Xbox Elite controller, and I have the smooth setting on there, so it smooths out that inner dead zone, but the aim is really, really precise, and it feels really, really good. The second big improvement is the 60 FPS with no frame drops. For me, this is a big deal, especially in big firefights. With all the effects going off, it's just butter smooth. Another big improvement is the 4K HDR. Now this again makes it really, really pop. Borderlands is cel shaded, so it's never been a graphic powerhouse anyway, but it looks really, really good. All the shadows look good, and the HDR really makes it pop. Here again, I think they could have went a little further and gave us more HDR options. Right now it's just turn it on, turn it off. In games like The Division 2, you actually have multiple HDR sliders, so you can adjust your HUD, you can adjust the actual gameplay itself, so you can mess around with it. Something I wish they would have went a little further with here, but it is nice. And finally, the big reason I think Borderlands Remastered is worth it is because of the FOV, or field of view slider. The original Borderlands on Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and I believe even on PC, the field of view was only 70, and most games are actually set at 100, so that means you have a really compact view of the screen. So just the ability to play at 100 or higher if you like makes a big difference as far as what you're going to see and experience in the game. If you're looking for more game reviews, game previews, and even some tips and tricks videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Until next time, guys, this is Chris. Have an awesome one.
I don't talk a lot, I drop it hard.